Emotional blackmail. Emotional blackmail is when someone uses your feelings to manipulate you into doing what they want. Picture a partner who threatens to harm themselves or says they'll stop loving you if you don't do what they ask. This tactic preys on your empathy and fear of losing them, making you feel trapped and guilty. It's a powerful form of manipulation because it makes you feel like you have no choice but to give in, even if it means doing things you're uncomfortable with. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone manipulates you into doubting your own reality and memories. Imagine someone repeatedly telling you that events you remember never happened or that your feelings are just in your head. They deny facts and twist the truth so convincingly that you start to question your own sanity. Over time, this constant self-doubt can chip away at your confidence and sense of self, making you increasingly reliant on the manipulator to tell you what's real. It's like being in a fog where you can't trust your own mind. Guilt tripping. It is when someone makes you feel responsible for their problems or unhappiness. Imagine a friend who keeps reminding you of a past mistake or constantly tells you that their troubles are because of you. They might say things like, "If you hadn't done this, I wouldn't be in this mess." This tactic plays on your sense of guilt, pushing you to do things to make up for your supposed wrongdoings, even when you're not really at fault. Silent treatment. The silent treatment is when someone refuses to communicate with you, often as a punishment. This tactic is used to control your behavior by making you feel isolated and anxious. It's a passive-aggressive way to exert power and can be deeply hurtful and confusing. It is really hurtful because it makes you feel completely cut off and ignored by someone you care about. Imagine needing to talk to someone close to you, only to be met with silence. It's like hitting a brick wall. This lack of communication leaves you feeling isolated, anxious, and wondering what you did wrong. It's deeply confusing and can seriously hurt your self-esteem because it suggests that your feelings and needs don't matter. Passive aggression. Passive aggression is when someone expresses their anger or frustration in indirect ways rather than dealing with issues head-on. Imagine a friend who, instead of telling you they're upset, makes snarky comments or gives you backhanded compliments like, "Wow, you're really brave for wearing that outfit." These subtle digs create an uneasy atmosphere, leaving you feeling tense and unsure of what you did wrong. Love bombing. Love bombing is when someone showers you with excessive affection and attention to quickly win your trust and affection. Once you're hooked, they might start to manipulate you, knowing you're now emotionally invested. This tactic can be confusing, as the shift from intense love to control can be sudden and jarring. Triangulation. Triangulation involves bringing a third person into the relationship dynamics to create jealousy or competition. The manipulator might talk about another person's qualities to make you feel insecure. This can make you work harder for their approval, striving to outdo the competition. Playing the victim. Playing the victim means exaggerating their own suffering to gain sympathy and control. They might claim they're always wronged or misunderstood, making you feel obligated to help or support them. This tactic can manipulate you into putting their needs above your own. Mind games. Mind games are all about using confusing tactics to manipulate and control you. Picture someone who sends mixed signals, acts distant one moment and affectionate the next, or creates false scenarios to keep you guessing. These unpredictable behaviors make you feel off balance and unsure of where you stand in the relationship. Blame shifting. Blame shifting is when the manipulator avoids responsibility by placing the blame on you or others. No matter what happens, it's never their fault. This tactic can make you question your actions and take on guilt that doesn't belong to you. Overreacting. Overreacting is when the manipulator responds with exaggerated emotions to minor issues. This dramatic response can make you feel like you've done something terribly wrong, even when you haven't. It's a way to control your behavior by making you wary of triggering their outbursts. Denial. Denial is when the manipulator refuses to acknowledge reality, even when confronted with evidence. They might deny saying or doing something, making you doubt your memory. This tactic can be incredibly frustrating and disorienting, eroding your trust in your own perceptions. Excessive criticism. Excessive criticism is when someone constantly picks apart your behavior, appearance, or decisions with nitpicky comments. Imagine a friend or partner who always has something negative to say, whether it's about your outfit, the way you speak, or even your everyday choices. This relentless critique can wear down your self-esteem over time, making you feel inadequate and unsure of yourself. You might find yourself seeking their approval more and more, hoping to avoid their criticism or gain their acceptance. Gaslighting by proxy. Gaslighting by proxy is a form of manipulation where someone doesn't directly gaslight you, but instead manipulates others to do it for them. Picture a scenario where a partner or friend spreads false information or twists your words to mutual acquaintances or family members, causing them to question your reality or perceptions. Unlike direct gaslighting, where the manipulator targets you directly to sow doubt and confusion, gaslighting by proxy uses third parties to achieve the same effect indirectly. This can create a pervasive sense of distrust and isolation, as you may feel betrayed by those you thought you could trust. Financial control. Financial control is when the manipulator restricts your access to money to control your behavior. They might give you an allowance, scrutinize your spending, or withhold financial support as punishment. This dependency can make it very hard to leave the relationship. Intimidation. Intimidation involves using threats, aggression, or implied violence to control you. The manipulator might use physical gestures, loud voices, or even subtle threats to instill fear. This fear keeps you compliant and less likely to challenge their authority. False flattery. False flattery is giving insincere compliments to gain your trust or compliance. They might shower you with praise to lower your guard, then use your newfound trust to manipulate you. This tactic can be confusing as it mixes positive reinforcement with underlying manipulation. Playing dumb. Playing dumb is pretending not to understand or know something to avoid responsibility or manipulate you into doing things for them. This tactic can frustrate you and make you feel obligated to take on more tasks, effectively controlling your actions. Projection. Projection involves accusing you of the very behaviors they're guilty of. By projecting their issues onto you, they deflect attention from their own shortcomings. This can make you defensive and more focused on clearing your name than recognizing their manipulation. Feigning innocence. Feigning innocence is acting clueless or naive to avoid blame or responsibility. The manipulator might act surprised or confused about the impact of their actions. This can make you second-guess your interpretation of events and let them off the hook. Minimizing. Minimizing is when someone diminishes the importance of your feelings or actions, making you feel like what you're experiencing isn't significant. Imagine sharing something important to you with a friend or partner, only to have them brush it off with comments like, "You're overreacting," or "It's not that big of a deal." This invalidates your emotions and leaves you questioning whether your concerns matter. Over time, this pattern can erode your self-confidence and make it harder for you to express your emotions openly, contributing to a sense of frustration and isolation. Using sex as a weapon. Using sex as a weapon means controlling the relationship's sexual dynamic to manipulate you. They might withhold sex to punish or use it as a reward for compliance. This can create a power imbalance and make intimacy feel transactional. Splitting. Splitting is creating a division between you and others, often by spreading lies or half-truths. The manipulator might turn friends, family, or colleagues against each other to isolate you and strengthen their control. This tactic can create a hostile environment and make you reliant on the manipulator for support. Exaggeration. Exaggeration involves blowing things out of proportion to manipulate your emotions. They might amplify their achievements, problems, or needs to make you feel inadequate or overly sympathetic. This tactic skews your perception, making you more likely to bend to their will. Sabotage. Sabotage is deliberately undermining your efforts or success. They might ruin your work, spread rumors, or create obstacles to keep you from achieving your goals. This tactic aims to keep you dependent and under their control by hindering your independence. Creating dependency. Creating dependency means making you reliant on them for emotional, financial, or social support. They might isolate you from other support systems, or make you feel like you can't cope without them. This dependency makes it harder for you to leave the relationship. Favoritism. Favoritism is showing preferential treatment to create jealousy and competition. The manipulator might openly favor someone else to make you work harder for their approval. This tactic can undermine your self-esteem and foster a toxic environment. Invalidation. Invalidation is dismissing or belittling your feelings, thoughts, or experiences. They might say you're too sensitive or that your concerns are irrational. This tactic makes you doubt your emotions and can lead to self-doubt and diminished self-worth. Overloading. Overloading involves bombarding you with information, tasks, or emotional demands to overwhelm you. The manipulator might give you too much to handle to keep you off balance and unable to focus on their manipulation. This can lead to burnout and increased dependency. So, thanks for watching this video. We really appreciate your time. And if you found it helpful and enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends.